get to reset the tempo? Where do we get to find some common ground and figure out how to get beyond what often feels like discourse, forced interaction, tension, and almost disdain and resentment in some ways on both sides, so we can really figure out where is the love.
What does black love look like to you?
Right now, black love looks like a myriad of things. If you would have asked me even 5 years ago, my opinion would have been different. And 2 years from now, it'll probably be different. But I do think that the staple thing that I can say throughout just my life would be that black love looks like bonding in resistance to the separation that this country has caused. It has to be a literal conscious decision that we make. I think that black love looks like having a healthy take on who we are and where we are. And I don't necessarily think that always means that everything within us needs to be completely healthy. It's a lot to unpack. There's a lot to fold and iron out just in that one statement, of saying I am completely healthy. So I don't think we have to always be at that point to have partnerships that are healthy and to have black love be prevalent. But I do think that another big part of that is understanding.
All right, Mac, we here with the Men's Health. Introduce yourself.
Got you. My name is Marques West from Oakland, California. Recently just moved out to Atlanta, Georgia, in the end of 2020, end of the pandemic. Had to get away from home so I'll be able to expand my wings and be able to grow and to follow my dreams as well. Yeah. I'm 35, just had a birthday, okay. So happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday.
You feel me? Been really enjoying life and enjoying myself. Been through a lot, and I love music, I love art, I love creating, and I love being me.
All right.
At the end of the day.
Yes.
For sure.
And throughout your journey and everything that's brought you to this place that you are now, how and when did you first learn about mental health?
I guess I started hearing about mental health when I started really becoming an EMT, I guess. My grandfather, God rest his soul, I was taking care of him, and I seen him become dehydrated. I didn't know at the time he was dehydrated, but he became dehydrated. And I had to call 911 because he stopped eating and things like that. And the ambulance came and gave him some fluids. And after they gave him the fluids, he started talking again. He haven't talked to me in like a good week for dealing with everything that he was dealing with. But then the ambulance came and gave him some fluids, and then my grandfather started talking. And then I got curious, like, well, what did you put in that, what was in that water that made him start talking again and things like that? And he was like, oh, it's just some water, some saline and things like that. But the comfort it brought to me, hearing my grandfather speak again after I haven't heard him speak after a long time, it gave me comfort. That was like probably one of my first times of really peeping it out, of being aware of how it affects me and how things affect me. That was probably like one of the first times that it happened. You feel me? I have to say.
Okay. And having that realization, what did mental health come to mean to you? What does mental health mean to you?
I realized that how much that I didn't pay attention to like myself and my feelings. Not too long after that, I had looked in the mirror to figure out, like, bro, who am I? Like one of those kind of questions. Mm-hmm. And I finally looked in the mirror and I realized that I didn't recognize the person looking back at myself. And since I didn't recognize the person looking back at myself, I felt it was time for me to figure out me. And what that means to me is that I had to put aside everybody else's feelings in order to figure out why I was feeling the way I was feeling. Because I felt worthless. I felt, detached. I felt unworthy, of just life, period, in totality. And when I came to the realization of who I am and who I'm truly supposed, what I'm really supposed to do, I started to open up to life. I started to open up to me. I started to open up to spirituality. I started to open up to God. I started to open up to the good, the bad, and the ugly. And then all that, I started to find myself, you know? Yeah.
Do you feel like you could pinpoint a place in life where you know you went off, like you veered away from that mirror moment? You know, like could you bridge that gap and, like, you know, had you closed yourself off to God, to spirituality and so on things, or, you know, like that something that you knew this stuff but you kind of got away from it?
I think it was an accumulation of things. As a black boy growing up in America, you don't have no self-identity. And so you looking for it, you searching for it. And so you searching for everything outside yourself. Once again, you looking at movies, you looking at hip-hop videos, you looking at athletes, you looking at your dad, you looking at your uncles, you looking at the people in the street, your friends and stuff like that. And so to me, I feel like it was an accumulation of things just growing up that I never recognized who I truly was to begin with. You know, so I say like probably the first time was probably I was a kid, and you know, just why girls don't like me, or like why, you know, they don't write about me in the notebooks, why I don't get the, you know, you want to go out with me? Yes, no, maybe. You feel what I'm saying, and stuff like that. What about me? And then watching TV, and then it happens all the time on TV. Yeah. You feel me? And then when you seeing the character on TV, you internalize that, like, oh, that's me, you know, and stuff like that. And then when it's not, and it doesn't pan out that way, and you have no experiences, like you become depressed. You cut yourself off from everybody. You dress in dark clothing or hoodies and stuff like that. You cover up. Right. You know, you cover up who you truly are because you find out that nobody really accepts you. Right. And then it wasn't until probably I was late 20s, early 30s, and I realized now I never accept myself. And like that was my big realization. You know, like I never accept myself as a kid. I never accepted myself as black. I never accepted me being a black boy or black man. You know what I'm saying? I never accepted those things. Right. And then when I became, I guess, aware of my blackness and things like that, and I started to be proud of who I was and stuff like that in my early 20s, it gave me a sense of identity. But it also gave me a sense of like hatred towards the world, because I felt like y'all was lying to me and y'all kept this from me. Like, why y'all wouldn't tell me how great I was when I was 5? Instead, I had to find out on myself and pay for classes out of my own pocket to go to African American studies, just to find out about myself. Right. Everybody else could find out about themselves when they was a kid, but when it came to me, I had to go pay for it. Right. And so, like, it was a struggle. It was a struggle, but then, yeah, like I said, probably in my late 20s, early 30s, I started to realize, like, nah, like, it's on me to figure it out. Okay. So in that, between the society, economics, and personal relationships, what has been the biggest impact on your mental health? I would say society, because we try to fit into it. I always tried to fit into society instead of making society fit me, you know, and things like that. It was so much pressure. I'm an only child, no brothers, no sisters. So I always looked outside, like to accept me, you know. Love hip hop, love music, you know. So I did what the rappers do, you know. Whatever the rappers do, that's what I was doing, you know. Whether it was good or bad, that's just what I decided to do. And then I also love being an athlete, love basketball, love football, anything that had a ball in it, I wanted to play, and just to show my skills, to show my worth. It's like I could do these things, you know. I didn't care for school too much, like, at all. Right. You know, it didn't fit me, like, you know, the whole structure of it. So I had a problem, you know, in school once I got, like, probably like in middle school to high school, like, it just wasn't interesting to me no more. Right. And I didn't fit in once again, and I felt out. You know, I felt with the street kids and stuff like that, and I did play sports, so I was with the street kids, and I was also with the people who had their head on straight in the sports. You know, my dad always used to tell me, you're a student athlete, student first and athlete second, and things like that. And then if you don't want to do that, then you you would never ever stop being a student, but you could cut this athlete stuff off, you know, and things like that. So me wanting to fit in, I did things that internally I didn't want to do. To be honest with you,
Right.
Like yeah, I didn't want to go to chemistry class. You know what I'm saying, and things like that.
Right.
I didn't want to say sorry when I hurt people's feelings and stuff like that. I didn't want to study, you feel me, and stuff like that. I didn't want to do just social norms, and then that's what caused a lot of my problems too, because I always question things. Always question, like, why I gotta do this? Why we gotta do this? Why I can't do what I wanna do? Why I gotta do, like, something I'm not even interested in and things like that. So I was always like a rebel. And so, you know, being black and being a rebel, that's not a good look, especially in America, you feel me?
Right.
And that's the labels that was put upon me. But then it wasn't until later on in life that I realized, nah, that label's not true. Like, nothing wrong with you. You know, you just different. You just curious. Right. You know, and things like that. That's just who you are. And just accept yourself for who you are. Right. And society had the biggest impact on me. Economically, you know, whenever you don't have no money, it's always gonna put you in a strain. Especially when you attach your value to money. You know, and or you attach your value to your bank account. And a lot of people do that. And it will make us feel unworthy, or you just as much as whatever's in your bank account. And growing up as a kid, you never tripped off money because everything was provided for you. But then when you became an adult and you wanted to maintain the same things the comfortabilities as a kid, you start going out there and working. But then you pay your phone bill, you buy a car, you get insurance and gas and things, you start to pick it up. You ain't paying rent yet. Right. You feel what I'm saying? But these other little nuances are starting to pick up. You still living at home with mom and dad, they might throw a bill on it. You feel what I'm saying? PG&E bill or a water bill, cable bill, something. They gonna do something, and just to tell you, like, this is what you gonna have to deal with. So when you going out and you working, make sure you put stuff aside. So economically, once I found out a hustle, and I CDs, movies, DVDs, I started doing that as a teenager. Right. You know, selling bootlegs and stuff like that. You know, I ain't gonna tell you about the other things I did, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, young and dumb, you feel what I'm saying? And you rolling with that certain crowd, you'll end up doing certain things. Experimenting. You just figuring it out. But just because you think you need money or you think you need a certain way of lifestyle. And so I got wrapped up in that. And all that, of course, go affect your personal life, you know? And when it affects your personal life, it's like a snowball effect. Right. Like, it might start real small, but then pretty soon it's gonna become an avalanche. Right. You know, and then personally, in 2018, I had 5 relatives pass away on me in the course of like a month. I didn't have no time to grieve. You know, it was just go. You know, move on, go to the next one, on to the next one, on to the next, on to the next. And all these people was close to me. Yeah. You know, and things like that. So when that happened in 2019, November 14th, 2019, I had a nervous breakdown. Yeah. You know, I remember quit walking off on my job. Just walked out, handed her everything, walked out. I knew it was a change for something better right then and there, because I knew that nobody cared. In that moment, I knew nobody cared about me. Right. You feel what I'm saying? The way that I care about me. You know, and that day right there, November 14th, 2019, when I walked out on my job, I was like, to be honest with you, fuck everybody and fuck everything else. Like, I gotta focus on me. I don't care what nobody say. And I was real adamant about that. Right. And I remember going home and talking to my mom, and she said, "Why did you quit your job?" I said, "If that's all you heard, then I did the right thing." Right. That's for real. Like, out of everything I just told you, and the first question out your mouth is that, why did I quit my job? I did the right thing. Yeah. Because, I noticed right then and there, like, only I care about how I feel. Right. You know, and nobody else cares about how I feel. Right. And so I started to move like that, you know, and, but it gave me a sense of power, though. And in that power, I found myself, you know, and I found my truth. And I found my true purpose in that. And I realized that I wasn't supposed to be doing none of the shit I was doing in the first place. Right. And then I was off to something better and greater. And I
Right.
took that leap. I took that first step, and I recognized it. And yeah.
That's like I think also at that point when you were sitting at that job, you know, and I think where you feel like that was where you're like you thought about mental health before, but now it's affecting your spirit. It's affecting something deeper than that, right?
Yeah.
And then that's kind of propels you to go into rebuilding yourself.
Right, because I remember I was depressed because November 14th I walked out on the job, but it started November 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
November 2nd was my auntie's birthday. And when I woke up that day, I tried to call her and I forgot that she had died.
Wow.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And it shook me.
Yeah.
It shook me to the core because not only that, the November 3rd was the son that I thought was mine.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me? I found out he wasn't mine birthday. And then
And
November 10th was my little cousin's birthday who just got murdered the year before.
wow.
So like all of this happened and so
Body blows.
body blows, you know, head blows, emotional blows to the point that I started not to care.
Mm-hmm.
Like I got depressed.
Mhm.
I remember the day I was depressed when I woke up on November 14th. I woke up and I just muted my alarm and just went back to sleep like I didn't have things to do.
Right.
You know, I got up when it was time for me to be at work. And I was just moving just nonchalantly and things like that. I got a call from my supervisor like, "Hey, are you okay? Are you?" I'm like, and I was just talking about, "Yeah, I'm all right. I'll be there when I get there, pretty much." You know, just it is what it is. I realized that I reached that point, but I didn't realize how deep, you know, it was truly affecting me.
Mhm.
You feel me? And so once I went to work, I started to help. I was a case manager at the time, so I started to help everybody that was homeless, you know, around my work area. And everybody I was helping kept telling me that I didn't need to be there.
Mhm.
That I like you should be doing something else. This is not it for you.
Mhm.
That kind of stuff. So I'm in this depressed state, but at the same time, all these signs started to come to me, and I started to pay attention and take heed. I just started listening.
Right.
I started listening to everybody. It was like messing, like angels, like was coming, was like,
Right.
blood, leave, like
Right.
stop.
Right.
You're not gonna make it. Like leave,
Right.
like. And so by the end of the day, I was 30 minutes late to work. So, and at the end of the day, my supervisor wanted me to stay that extra 30 minutes, and I couldn't do it. Like I knew I couldn't do it. I felt something in my spirit was like, bro, if you stay these 30 minutes, bro, like I'm about to leave your body. Like I quit. Like you're about to, like it's over. Like it's just over.
Yeah.
So it was it felt like the time froze. So I just ended up politely getting up, and I remember everything that was on me. I just left it on the table. I remember looking at her and telling her thank you for the opportunity, but I'm cool.
Yeah.
And I just left.
Yeah.
And then I did that to my other job that I had too. And my mom was like, "What are you doing? Like, why? And I wish you wouldn't have did that." And I was like, "Yeah, this is the right thing."
Yeah.
I knew it right then and there. It was the right thing. And then I started to invest in myself. And then that was the best decision I ever did.
That's awesome. I mean, saying, you know, and that's great. So now looking back, what advice would you give to young black men? What advice do you have for men going through or maybe coming up on that precipice of realizing mental health?
Man, be in tune with your feelings. Tap in with your feelings. Your feelings matter. You could cry. It's okay to cry. That's what I would tell myself back in the day. Bro, cry. It's okay to cry. Go talk to somebody. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, communicate how you truly feel. Even if it sounds stupid or dumb. Even if somebody you think might tease you or something, you got to say it. Say it, get it off your chest, get it off your heart, get it off your mind, get it off your conscience. Because your feelings matter. And your feelings is tied to your mental health. And a lot of our feelings be hurt. You feel me? And it's tied to our mental health. Our feelings is hurt as a kid. You feel me? As a teenager, as a young man, and probably recently. You feel what I'm saying? Feelings, naturally, our feelings just get hurt, and we have to communicate that. And I think that's so essential because we got to feel through. It's a filling out process.
Right.
So don't be afraid to communicate your feelings. That's what would be my advice to kids and to young black men.
Bet. Real talk. I appreciate that, Mac. I definitely got something from it. Appreciate you sharing your experience and talking about mental health with me today. We'll close out with that one.
It's good.
Yes,
Appreciate you, my brother.
And hopefully somewhere somebody will be changed for good. Some family will be improved or saved. Some love life can be strengthened. Some person can be healed. Somebody can be helped. I think ultimately, if we talk and we figure out solutions, we can drive out the problem and really figure it out. Because I don't think that we're full of hate. And so I do pose the question, where is the love?